Good evening. Just a short video regarding the inappropriate reactions of athletes to the Rittenhouse verdict. This is just par for the course. These people have always been haven't been the sharpest tools in the shed. So no surprise here. These people are, a lot of them can't even finish high school math courses, which most people don't have to study for, et cetera, et cetera. So no surprise here. A couple of things. Isaiah Thomas, I'm not sure which one. I think it's probably the younger one based on the statement. I don't think back in the day you'd see these statements out of like Michael Jordan and the older Isaiah Thomas and Larry Bird. You notice how all the comments were from younger athletes today who are, I guess, getting dumber and dumber because they're not recognizing that they're veering from the middle. So basically, Isaiah Thomas says, F the judge. Completely inappropriate, especially given what happened to his sister. What an idiot, you know. Anybody can tell you that the jury gives a sentence, not the judge. So we're not going to comment on that one any further. You're looking at the comments as well from Bubba Wallace and some of the other athletes. They're basically trying to imply that if this Rittenhouse person was an African American, that he'd be acquitted. Well, the OJ case, so it keeps coming back. It's always going to be there. OJ, obviously an African American, was acquitted. His defense did play the race card. I don't blame them, but you know, there's clearly you know, an African American who was acquitted. So. Not buying that argument. You know, looking at a very small sampling of cases here, but their theory that if he was an African American and he'd be, it's just speculation. You know, you always have that OJ case to reference, and it's always going to be there. So the facts speak for themselves. Another thing that that makes their argument completely farcical is the fact that the victims were white. They weren't African American victims, they were white victims. So why weren't you spinning it as, here's a white victim who was shot and the guy got away with it? You know, it wasn't like an African American victim and the white guy got away with it, or vice versa, but it's a white victim. So why aren't you spinning it in the viewpoint from the victims? So you basically you don't really have any argument here, whoever you stand with. So that's surprising that the athletes were commenting on this case. So yeah, the race factor, we have a white victims here. Race factor, we pretty much discussed that. And the last thing is just my personal belief here that it's politics here. You have these athletes saying, taking the liberal viewpoint, they must have data on their fans that they're liberal. I wouldn't do that in any business. You're not going to make money, number one. That's I wrote a paper on that in college. Number two, it's unethical to speak on behalf of your, I guess in the NBA, you wouldn't have shareholders. It's unethical to speak on behalf of your owners. Maybe the owners are okay with it, but I still believe that's unethical because you're representing your fans as well. So politics and business never mix, no matter what the situation is. So it's a new low for the NBA, and I believe the ratings will decline. I pretty much boycotted almost every sport now. You know, this is the first year I've been boycotting the NFL. So, you know, it's just the color. Who cares who beats who? It's the colors, this color, that color. You're not, the fans aren't competing with each other, because I would clobber them. So, just, you know, unethical on the part of these athletes. Let's just sum it up with these athletes. So a completely idiotic statement from Isaiah Thomas, thinking that the judge gives a sentence, not the jury. That's something probably a 10-year-old wouldn't make that mistake. They're also implying that if it was an African American, he'd be acquitted. Excuse me, he would not have been acquitted. Obviously, they didn't follow the OJ case. when I was around. The whole world shut down for that. Ignoring the fact that the white victims were not given justice, they believe. That's the way they should spin it. They don't. They spin it from Rittenhouse viewpoint because they're stupid. And also the political side, which is probably the most important thing here. I myself did the right thing in high school and college. And there's nothing that they can do this or that about Democrats, but there's absolutely nothing they can do about the fact that, I wouldn't sleep with a liberal. There's absolutely nothing they can do about that.